How about that? Mandy Pinto with our national anthem and an American bald eagle, the symbol of our country, landing on the Anaheim infield. Opening day comes to the West Coast. Mo Vaughn and the Angels, the world champion New York Yankees, and a dugout loaded with talent. Bernie Williams leads the way in center field. And for 3 of the last 4 years, Joe Torre's Yanks put on the World Series championship ring. A sold-out Edison International Field of Anaheim tonight. 45,000 on hand as ESPN Baseball on opening night comes to ESPN2. I'm Bob Carpenter. Welcome to Southern California. And on Wednesday nights this year, we will bring you Major League Baseball on ESPN2. We look forward to that. Now, the big question in the American League, who can possibly challenge the Yankees? Some people think it'll be the Red Sox, but that dugout is loaded. They don't fight anymore. They get along together. They play together better than any team in Major League Baseball. And they've got some great veterans and a good mixture of youngsters, too, the world champion Yankees. 9 years in the big leagues for Brian McRae. Welcome to the ESPN crew, buddy.
Thank you, Bob. I'm excited about being here opening day.
His first opening day in 10 years with the coat and tie on. You look good, man. Now, let's talk about the Yankees. Their hopes are still going to rest on that veteran pitching staff.
Yeah, I think the Yankees need big years out of David Cone and Roger Clemens. They need those guys to come back to their Cy Young form.
And, of course, talking about guys who put up some big numbers last year, 26 wins between the two of them. Can they repeat those kind of numbers again? And neither of them a #1 starter right now. Now, the Angels, opening night last year, that's when things fell apart for them. Mo Vaughn just over from the Red Sox as a free agent. Watch him hit the top deck and right down to the bottom of the dugout. And when his ankle landed, the hopes of the Angels crashed last year. He still put up some big numbers, and if he's healthy this year, this lineup puts some numbers on the board.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of runs from this lineup. It's a very exciting ball club offensively with Salmon, Garrett Anderson, and I think one of the keys is going to be Adam Kennedy. This young guy came over in the trade from the St. Louis Cardinals, and I think he's going to be a guy that you can look for. Just left-handed hitter, gets on base, and can do a lot of things for this ball club.
And the big question is, where does Adam Kennedy play well defensively? Will he do it at second base? At second base for the Yankees in their lineup, Chuck Knotblock. And as you look down the list, the stability of the Yanks just jumps out at you. Derek Jeter at short, Paul O'Neill in right field. Now, Bernie Williams has a bit of a tricep problem in his upper right arm between his elbow and his shoulder. That's his throwing arm, so he will not play center field tonight. He will be the DH. Tino Martinez plays at first. Ricky Leday will take Williams' place in center field. You'll see him a lot in left this year. Jorge Posada, he's now a veteran catcher and does a wonderful job of handling this pitching staff. Shane Spencer, the young slugger. Shades of Mickey Mantle now and then. Will he be able to do it over the course of a long season? And, of course, they know all about the track record of Scott Brosius. Then, of course, the heartwarming story of Joe Torre. 1,294 wins now in his managerial career with the Mets, the Braves, the Cardinals, and now the Yankees. Unprecedented success. They won their division by just 4 games over the Red Sox last year. But how about the Yankees in postseason? They sweep Texas in 3, 4-1 over the Red Sox. They sweep the Braves in the series for an amazing 11-1 run through the postseason. And they are the favorites to do it again after winning 98 games last year. In fact, the Yankees have won 400 games now the last 4 years. And Brian, over on the other side, a rookie manager in Mike Scioscia, great catcher, a guy with a wonderful feel for the game, and he really has improved the atmosphere here in Anaheim.
Yeah, I think he's trying to bring in and instill his own attitude, the way he went about playing the ball game. And this team has to do something this year because last year was so bad. They needed to come through and bring some new blood in here, get the clubhouse a little bit better attitude, and I think they're going to expect some big things out of this ball club. Everybody's excited about going out and playing.
Nobody ever caught more games for the Dodgers than Mike Scioscia, even more than Roy Campanella and the great John Roseberry. So the Angels take the field, and this is a club that was pretty solid defensively a year ago. Tonight they line up behind a veteran right-hander at the age of 34. Ken Hill, sort of a crossroads in his career, Brian. He has not been healthy the last couple of years.
And Ken Hill has not thrown 200 innings since 1996, I think, or 93. And he made have a big game tonight, because this is going to probably be a key for this ball club. They can get some good starting pitching. They can get some guys to throw in some innings, because they're hurting in their starting staff. And with the addition of Kent Bonfield over to the St. Louis Cardinals, they're going to expect to see big things out of their big two pitchers, Kent Hill and Bonfield.
Yeah, Kent Hill coming off a 4-11 season with an ERA of almost 5 a year ago. He only pitched 128 innings. As mentioned, the Angels pretty solid defensively last year, tied for third in the American League. They only made 106 errors, and the big key up the middle as Garrett Anderson moves to center to replace Jim Edmonds, the two-time Gold Glover, and Adam Kennedy, outstanding prospect from the St. Louis organization, now put right in there at second base. He's a very good offensive player. Will he be able to turn the double play? And over the years, Gary DiSarcina has played with more than 20 different second basemen. So there's a good look at the young man out of California. Adam Kennedy is from Riverside, left-handed batter. He's 6'1", 180, and at the age of 24, he takes over up the middle.
This would be a big key for his confidence if he can come in and play well. He probably needs to get some ground balls early and get the jitters out. He's playing in front of his hometown fans. His first opening day start, and that was the question in the St. Louis Cardinal organization, if he could play second base. They couldn't find a place to play him. He's over here playing second base, and I bet he's an excited kid tonight.
And of course, as we start on opening day, as you've seen on ESPN and ESPN2 all day, the umpires are an interesting story. Tim McClelland, former American League veteran, behind the plate. He is the crew chief. Terry Kraft, Paul Schreiber, Phil Cuzzi work on the infield. That'll be an interesting story to watch. Brian and I were chatting about that this morning. Let's say you have a National League pitcher, one of those old American League umpires. Things could be a little different for the Greg Maddoxes and some of the other outstanding pitchers in Major League Baseball.
It'll be interesting to see when we go along in the season if the same zone applies to every pitcher in both leagues.
Here's Chuck Knobloch. 292 last year. His career batting average is 298. And he leads things off against Kent Hill. Full house here in Anaheim as the Angels and the Yankees get their 2000 season started. It's a fastball for strike one. Angels fifth in ERA last year at 4.79 in the American League. There's another fastball. That went a little bit low. Kent Hill pretty much a fastball slider split finger pitcher.
Split is his out pitch.
A career record of 112 wins, 100 losses. And a 1-1 pitch. Low and away. Working with Benji Molina tonight. They have a veteran catcher, Matt Walbeck, on the roster. Molina, their up-and-coming youngster. The Todd Green days are over here. 2 balls and a strike. Fastball ripped to the hole under DiSarcina. And the Yankees have their first base runner.
That's usually the play that Gary DiSarcina makes. If you look at that ball went under his glove, he's pretty steady out there short. Not like he goes with the ball and he get line drive hitter, hits a hard line drive. It looked like it scooted on the dirt and got past DiSarcina.
Next up, Derek Jeter, second in the league in batting a year ago, raising his career batting average now to .318 over his 4 full years in the big leagues. Runner goes. Torres being aggressive. The throw short, out at second base on a good pick by Gary DiSarcina.
That was a tough play on a bad throw. DiSarcina picked it and put down the tag. It looked like Knobloch got in there, but the Yankees didn't waste any time trying to be aggressive against this Angels ball club. Chuck Knobloch's got to get a good jump. He's not looking in, so it's not a hit and run. It's a straight steal. Molina gets rid of the ball quick, picks it, and puts the tag down.
Jeter on a count of no balls, 1 strike. And Hill slips one by him. Now, just before the game, of course, they water the infield here in Anaheim. Not the greatest track to get that start. You can see it's quite moist.
Especially
Knobloch dug up. Yeah, Knobloch dug up some mud out there at first base trying to get his start. It's really wet in front of home plate. I figure Hill with that splitter, have a few guys pounding the ball into the dirt. They want it as soft as possible.
Grounds crew always works to the advantage of the home team.
As it should be. Fastball misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jeter, then O'Neill. Bernie Williams sitting in the cleanup spot tonight. The Yankees hit .282 last year, 4th in the league. They were 3rd in runs, scoring an even .900. They were 8th in homers, 10th in steals. Not numbers that exactly blow you away. A 3-hopper to DiSarcina. Low throw. Mo Vaughn picks it. 2 down. We've had some interesting defensive plays already.
Although we got a little bit of the opening day nerves here. Bad throw by DiSarcina, but Mo Vaughn, not known for his great glove over there at first base, makes a nice scoop. You don't know if the ball is wet or anything. DiSarcina has a lot of time.
Kind of short.
The sinker, yeah, he did short on him. Mo Vaughn comes up with a big pick.
Bases empty, 2 outs for Paul O'Neill. O'Neill's American League batting average .312 after hitting .259 in his years with the Reds in the National League. And a fastball fades away from him, ball 1. So a career batting mark of .290 for Paul O'Neill. Now in his 14th full major league season, 110 RBIs a year ago.
He really turned it on as a hitter since he's become a Yankee.
That he has. His RBI totals the last 4 years. How about this? 102 and 96, 197, fell off a bit to 97 2 years ago, but that's when he led the league in hitting at .339, and then of course he puts 110 across the plate last year. 2-0 pitch from Ken Hill. He's staying away from O'Neill, ball 3.
Seems like Ken Hill's been going after the batters, getting ahead of the strikes. First 2 hitters, he's not doing that with O'Neill.
Ken Hill working from the first base side of the pitching rubber against the left-handed batter. Look how far over he is. That's why his ball's tailing way outside. That's a good one at the knees.
Pitchers also try to do that to try to confuse and mess up the hitter's vantage point where you're trying to look at the ball. If he's standing that so far over, and most pitchers don't do that, it kind of takes it off center. And when he's throwing the ball, trying to run the ball back in over the plate, it doesn't end up where you think it is.
Now left-handers love the ball down and in. That's where O'Neill went to foul that one off. So the count goes full. Last year, the Angels beat the Yankees 6 out of the 10 times they met, splitting the 4 games here. Three-two pitch. O'Neill looks at ball 4 low. 2 base runners, one of them erased in the caught stealing. And now O'Neill gets the 2-out pass. That'll get Bernie Williams to the plate.
It's a good thing that the Yankees do as a ball club, 1 through 9 in the lineup. They always take a lot of pitches. They work the counts. They make the pitchers work hard 1 through 9, and that comes up the second, third time around the lineup. You get better pitches to hit. This ball club is very good at working and getting the pitch count up of the pitchers.
Well, Bernie Williams a couple of years ago commanded some very big money to remain a Yankee. Some thought Brian Jordan would end up in center field in New York. Some thought Jim Edmonds would. Bernie stayed, and he has made it pay off beautifully for the Yanks.
Bernie's turned himself into one of the best players, best hitters in all the American League, one of the better switch hitters around. Left-handed, he does a lot of damage, and right-handed, he just pounds left-handed. He hits a lot of his home runs from the right side. People try to turn him around to the right side, and he can get you.
The 0-1 pitch. Fastball off the belt. That'll even things up. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 straight Gold Gloves in center. A batting championship a couple of years ago. 3 All-Star berths already in his first 7 years.
It's not a bad start.
It is something. A 1-1 pitch. Short lead by O'Neill at first. They hold him anyway. Mo Vaughn holding the runner over there, even despite the fact that O'Neill's only about 5 feet off the base. So that extends Bernie Williams' hitting room over there on the right side.
O'Neill is really not a threat to run. That doesn't still a whole lot of bases.
So why not play behind him with 2 outs?
You think he should do that to take that hole away.
There you see Mo Vaughn hanging on the bag. 2-1 pitch. Over to that side, but right at Adam Kennedy. His first play as an Angel is a 4-6 assist. And coming up when we remain here in Anaheim, Mo Vaughn, he's back healthy, wants to win very badly. The Angels hitting .256, last in the league last year. Darren Erstad, and then Adam Kennedy batting in the number 2 hole. Mo Vaughn, Tim Salmon, Garrett Anderson, and Troy Glaus, who really had a breakout season last year. Scott Spezio's the DH, Benji Molina, the young catcher, and Gary DiSarcina, a fixture in the 9 hole last couple of years for the Angels. On the mound, Orlando El Duque Hernandez at the age of 30, a legitimate number 1 starter now with a career mark of 29-13.
El Duque has established himself as a number 1 starter on this ball club with the way he went out and pitched last year and then in the postseason. He's a man that throws from different angles, changes location, changes speed. He does everything that a pitcher needs to do to get big league hitters out. He keeps them off balance. And the key for him is the left-handers in this lineup have to do the damage on him. Lefties hit at a higher clip than right-handers, and lefties get to see the ball a little bit longer from him when he comes sidearm. So the left-handers are the ones in this lineup that should do a lot of damage if they're going to get to him.
Defensively, the Yankees 7th in the American League last year. And the big question, Brian, and you know all about this position, can Ricky Leday do it, not only in center field tonight with Bernie Williams out of the lineup defensively, but how about him every day trying to establish himself in the outfield?
Leday is a left fielder by trade. He's out there in center field. The ball takes different angles, and it comes out there off the bat a little bit funny out there in center field. So I think that's the toughest position to play in the outfield is center field. So hopefully Ricky Leday might not have to be out there a whole lot. He's probably hoping that Bernie Williams gets back in the lineup so he can go back to his natural position.
Here's Darren Erstad, the Angels left fielder. I'm waiting for our first line drive to center field tonight to see if my partner has a little body English going up here. I want to see what kind of jump you get on that first ball hit out there. 1 ball and no strikes. There's a fastball that's high in the strike zone. Darren Erstad at 282 his career mark now. Down to 253 though last year. A lot of folks question the pop and the speed of his bat.
A lot of people were down on him after his season last year.
And a big breaking ball, and off-speed one by El Duque, bouncing way out in front of home plate. This guy's got 4 pitches, and when you times them by the different arm angles, you're talking about a dozen different looks he will give you during a ball game.
A lot of fairness to Darren Erstad. He's probably not the true prototypical leadoff hitter, and that probably takes away some of his offensive punch because he's doing something that he probably shouldn't be doing in this lineup to try to help the ball club.
2-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit. Over the glove of Jeter. And a momentary fumble by Shane Spencer. No further advancement. And each team gets a leadoff single on opening night.
Darren Erstad does a good job on this ball. So fastball running away. He doesn't try to pull it, doesn't roll over, slap to the left field, base hit.
That looks like a pretty good leadoff guy right there. Tino Martinez will hold him on. Erstad, not a lot of running last year, 13 steals. The Angels only stole 71 all year. And here's Adam Kennedy, his Cardinal AAA numbers last year with the Redbirds of Memphis. And then he had 33 games, 102 at-bats for the Cardinals and hit a respectable .255. A homer and 16 RBIs.
Doesn't strike out a whole lot. Good contact hitter. He takes some wild swings early in the count, but he shortens it up and makes sure he makes contact.
Yeah, he only struck out 8 times and 102 at-bats at the big league level last year. Brian, what do you see in Adam Kennedy's offensive game that you like?
I just like the way he puts the bat on the ball. He's really aggressive at the plate. He uses the whole field. His power is to the left and right center alleys, and I just like the way his approach. He knows a lot about hitting. He studies it. He works a lot in the cages. So I kind of just, you know, his whole package, the way he goes about his business.
We saw Adam Kennedy right here, well, right over at least on ESPN, the AAA All-Star game last year in a very big ballpark down in New Orleans. Almost hit the wall with a drive to left center, and that's a park where left center field's about a 390 gap. He has outstanding power out that way. Fastball up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. So after being a AAA All-Star, he got the call up late. Did a decent job for Tony La Russa. The Cardinals with Fernando Vina at second base. They had to hang a no vacancy sign there. The outfield's now loaded with Jim Edmonds coming over. And Kennedy became an Angel along with Kent Bottenfield. 1-1 pitch, runner going. Line drive, it'll be a double play.
Angels tried to play a little hit and run there, and they got caught doing it.
It'll be an unassisted double play by the first baseman, Tino Martinez. Edison International Field of Anaheim, capacity 45,050, and opening day becomes opening night here in Southern California. And the big cheer you hear is for Mo Vaughn. Opening night has to be better than it was last year, huh?
He's made it through first inning and didn't get hurt.
Unbelievable how the baseball gods make things happen here and there. Last year, just a terrible thing for the Angels. Mo Vaughn gets jammed and fouls one back. Then he bounced back and still put up some pretty big numbers. Playing 139 games and still driving in amazingly over 100 runs.
It's amazing that he did the things that he did last year, and people said it's like a bad year, like he had a terrible season, but it's not Mo Vaughn like what he did.
El Duque with a nasty breaking ball, and the count goes 0-2. Hernandez 17-9 a year ago. He pitched 214 innings in 33 starts. And the 0-2 pitch. Throw one in the dirt to waste one against Big Mo. Joe Torre, what a great player and what a great manager he's become. Former batting champion. Joe Torre making a great transition in his career from being an all-star catcher with the Milwaukee Braves to becoming an all-star third baseman with the Cardinals and a batting champion. Hit .363 1 year, 1971, to win the National League batting crown for St. Louis. There weren't many infield hits in that .363. Joe did not have any speed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mo takes one inside under his hands.
It's a funny thing about Joe Torre, because when he was with the Cardinals and got fired there, he wasn't considered a real good manager. Now he's over here with the Yankees, has a real good ball club around him, and he's one of the best managers in baseball. It's funny how those things work out.
He's a genius now, but one of the great good guys in the game.
Great story.
2 balls, 2 strikes. His brother Frank is here today. There's a rip by Mo, foul. Well, when you talk to Mo Vaughn during batting practice, you can feel the intensity and the passion for the game. Every clubhouse, every clubhouse should have a Mo Vaun in it. 2-2 pitch. He goes upstairs, a hack, and it's way out of play down the third base side. Mo seeing a bunch of pitches here, first time up.
First time up, opening day, you're got the butterflies going, you're kind of jittery. To have a good at bat like this makes you feel real good.
2 balls, 2 strikes again. Looked like El Duque took a little bit off, sinking that ball. 3-2. On deck hitter is the right fielder, Tim Salmon. This is a lineup that's got some pop, even with Edmonds gone. Vaughn, Salmon, Garrett Anderson, Troy Glaus. 3 through 6. Crowd wants another base runner, or maybe a long one, on 3-2. Big curveball struck him out.
Pulled a string.
El Duque snapping off a big one. Leadoff single, a double play, and the strikeout. No score in Anaheim.
Have to try to do some damage on the fastball.
Top of the second. Tino Martinez leads off for the Yankees. Ken Hill missing low. Tino now coming off 5 consecutive 100 RBI seasons. Did it in '95 with Seattle, and then every year since with the Yankees.
It's kind of unheralded on this ball club. He does a good job year in and year out, puts up good numbers, but you don't hear a lot about him like some of the other first basemen in the league.
1 ball, 1 strike. Ricky Leday and Jorge Posada to follow here in the top of the second. Fastball low and away. Ken Hill's ball looks like it's got some pretty good movement so far.
He looks like he got pretty good life on the ball, and he's throwing the ball pretty hard.
This is the 4th time he's been an opening day or opening night starter. Once with the Cardinals back in '95 against the Phillies, a no decision, and then twice with the Texas Rangers. Got a win April 1st of '96 against the Red Sox at the ballpark in Arlington, and a year later beat the Brewers, who were then in the American League. And a bouncer out to second. Adam Kennedy, 2 for 2 in defensive chances so far. 1 out top of the second. Let's check in with Bill Pito.
All right, Bob, the Tigers and Oakland. Dean Palmer last year, his first year with Detroit, had 38 home runs, picking up right where he left off of Kevin Appier in the second. Over the wall and gone to tie the game at 1. Then later on in the second inning, Luis Polonia, base hit. Davy Cruz comes in to score to make it 2-1. Polonia, however, going to second. And not a good decision. Thrown out. Nonetheless, 2-1 Tigers, top 4.
So Hideo Nomo has a lead to work with there as they knock Kevin Appier around a little bit. Those Tigers will be a good offensive club this year with Juan Gonzalez and a new ballpark.
Looking forward to seeing that new ballpark. They needed that there in Detroit.
That they did. Ricky Leday playing center field tonight. 2 balls and no strikes as Ken Hill falls behind him. Ricky Leday over 100 homers and nearly 400 RBIs in the minor leagues. Hit 9 and knocked in 40 for the Yankees last year.
I think he's really going to blossom if they give him a chance to play and get 450, 500 at bats. This is a kid that swung the bat real well in the times that I saw him when we played against him last year, and I think that he's a good hitter. He just needs to get his confidence and get to play a lot.
Well, that's the key, the last thing you mentioned, because the last couple of years with Tim Raines, Chili Davis mainly DHing, but Darryl Strawberry hanging around. Joe Torre would have Leday in and out of the lineup. Now they may have to stay with him even if he goes into a slump a time or two and see how he handles it every day. No problem for Troy Glaus over at third. 3 consecutive ground balls now for Ken Hill.
Ground balls are indicative of a sinker ball. He's got a sinker ball working. Ken Hill is trying to do that, trying to get ahead of the hitters, and he's getting his ground ball. It's a good sign for the Cardinals. Picking.
He'll be up
Adam
over.
Kennedy.
Yeah, there's a big ex-St. Louis flavor to this Anaheim team. Ken Hill, Adam Kennedy, Kent Bottenfield, Mark Pitkazik, and Kent Merker, both in the bullpen. You'd think Whitey Herzog was still out here making deals. Fastball up and away, ball 1. And Posada really establishing himself now. A very respectable 252 career batting mark through his first 3 years. This guy has driven in 120 runs the last 2 seasons. Joe Girardi, of course, is now in Chicago with the Cubs.
Bat down in the lineup like Posada does, that means that those guys are getting on ahead of him, and he's doing a good job of swinging the bat with runners in scoring position. He gets a lot of chances with runners in scoring position with the talent that he has hitting in front of him.
2 balls, no strikes. Bases empty, 2 outs, top of the second. No scores so far here in Anaheim. And Hill's been close with a lot of those fastballs. And that count goes to 3-0. Hill broke in with St. Louis back in '88. There's one on the inside corner. His best season, a 16-9 with the Expos in '92. With an ERA of 2.68. He was 16-5 for the Expos a couple of years later. About a half run per game more on that earned run average. He gets the outside corner with that one. Then he won 16 for the Rangers in '96.
And the injuries.
Yep. Eventually traded to the Angels for Jim Leyritz, who's in the Yankee dugout tonight, and infielder Robert Sasser. 3-2 pitch. And a pretty good hack by Posada. Third consecutive batter with a full count this inning. There's Buddy Black, pitching coach of the Angels. Had some real good years with the Royals. He had a 3-2. Well, the Yankees were unbelievable on the road last year, playing places like here where they split 4 games and others where they dominated. Joe Torre's team won 50 of 81 road games last year.
It's almost unheard of.
They actually had a better road record than they did at home, and they were 15 over 500 at Yankee Stadium. They dominated their division, winning 31 and losing only 18. And a 3-2 pitch way up and outside, and New York has its third base runner. Walk number 2 issued by Ken Hill. His pitch count is going to be well up 40 or more by the time he walks to the dugout after his second inning.
The thing about the Yankees, they don't make outs on the first 2 or 3 pitches. They don't put the ball in play a whole lot early in the count. They want to work the pitcher. As I said before, they love doing that, and they love getting the pitch count.
Here's Shane Spencer. Here's another guy who has some awesome minor league home run RBI totals. 121 minor league homers and 546 RBIs. I mean, these days, the way they rush kids to the major leagues, nobody has time to put up those kind of numbers. It just goes to show you how talent deep and rich the Yankee organization is like right now, with guys like Spencer and Leday just waiting and waiting and waiting for their opportunities.
Yeah, they have to fight for playing time. And some of these ball clubs, they'd be starting and playing every day regardless of what they did.
1-0 pitch and a pop-up out of play over to the right side field boxes. Tino Martinez working on that stroke over the dugout. This is tough on the defense too, Brian, standing around a lot. You know, Rick Sutcliffe talked about that a lot today during the Cardinal-Cub game. Your defense just gets duller and duller as you stand around out there.
Most of the good plays you see, the great plays, are made when the pitcher's working quick. Everybody's into the ball game. Everybody's ready for the ball to be hit to them. When you sit around, you kind of get lazy and lethargic, and then that one quick step that you need to take to get a ball, you miss it and it hits off your glove.
Especially when you're so keyed up for opening night. 2-1 pitch. Good fastball to the outside corner. That'll even things up to Spencer.
A lot of pitchers tend to work slower when they get guys on base. They kind of think about what they're doing. They want to hold the runner. They want to do those type of things, and it takes them out of the rhythm.
Osada short lead at first. Mo Vaughn again holding him just like they did O'Neill last inning. The guy who's not really a running threat. But this time a right-handed batter in there. 2-2. As opposed to last inning when it was Bernie Williams who did hold the ball, but it was right to Adam Kennedy for a force out at second. Hill with a short step off. Now he's back on. Not a whole lot to be concerned of over there from the running standpoint. And here's the 2-2. Broken bat out to third. Gloss cuts it off, scooping cleanly. Nice play on the run. 3 grounders in the inning, around a walk. Yankees have stranded 2. And some power coming up. Cleanup man Tim Salmon for the Angels. Stolen bases. They just didn't generate a whole lot with Mo Vaughn out for an extended period. Tim Salmon played only 98 games as he was injured. This club made 18 significant visits to the disabled list last year.
And their top hitters were on the shelf. Edmonds missed pretty much 3/4 of the year with a shoulder injury.
Tim Salmon jacks one to left field. See you later. A solo shot, and the Angels lead 1-0.
Tim Salmon must have heard us talking about him. He was right on cue. He didn't waste any time. Jumped on the first fastball and knocked it out of the park. Beautiful swing right there. Good extension. Head down.
Well, I think Salmon knew it long before Shane Spencer knew it.
Yeah, that was some false fastball. He had no chance to get that ball.
Tim Salmon with his 197th career homer. And now Anderson shoots the gap in left center.
Into the far.
Looking into the smoke, Spencer makes the play. That's the only bad thing about the fireworks here. They always seem to blow, the smoke does, right back on the field. And I guess if you're Anderson, you want to go the other way and hit one right into that fall.
It wouldn't have been a bad deal if he would have got a double like this.
Look at this. This looks like San Francisco. You know, that's a pretty good concentration job by Shane Spencer.
He's not noted to be a real good defensive player. That was a good play.
So
go
now,
in and slide.
So I guess knock your Troy Gloss to try to hit one down the line. I mean, there's got to be some sort of technology where you can shoot fireworks with less smoke than that. This is the year 2000.
Another advantage for the home team.
Evidently. What a year for Troy Gloss last year. He's one guy who broke out. He hit only .240, but nearly 30 homers, nearly 80 RBIs as he played 154 games. Like a lot of young sluggers, struck out a lot, 143 times. He had only 60 days of Major League service going into last year. He's a big fella at 6'5", 229.
Some people feel he was rushed to the big leagues. He didn't play a whole lot of minor league ball. This year is the year that they're looking for him to do big things and bring that average up and cut the strikeouts down.
2 balls and a strike. Well, the other big thing is, if Vaughn's healthy, Salmon healthy, they can bat him 6th. He doesn't have to bat further up in the lineup. Socia would like to bring him along in that fashion. 3 balls and a strike. Base hit as he goes the other way. Now, I guarantee you, he didn't do that a whole lot last year when he hit .240.
Now, you hit like that, you're going to hit .280 or so. You go to the right side, there's a lot of money out there, as coaches say, and that's something that will keep you from striking out. Staying on the ball, hit it to the right side. It's 3-1. He didn't look to pull the ball. He stayed with it. This is the right field. Didn't try to overswing. Didn't try to do too much. Those are the type of things you can do to help your average get up. And then when you feel good, then maybe that 3-1 pitch, you'll try to turn on it later.
Next up, DH Scott Spezio. And of course, we mentioned the St. Louis connection to this Anaheim organization. His father, Ed, a Cardinal infielder back in the 60s. With Oakland the last couple of seasons. Last year, the DH spot for the Angels, hitting only .258. What a great pitch to run on. And Posada still throws out the runner. That was a big, slow curveball, and Gloss still couldn't beat it out.
I think it was a hit and run on the second time the Angels did a hit and run in 2 innings. That was a real good pitch to run on. If Gloss got a bad jump, or did he start late because it was a hit and run? He's not, didn't have a big lead, and he didn't really get off. And Posada makes a strike down there, and throws a strike, and he's out. Very nice throw by Posada.
Yeah, that was definitely a hitter trying to protect the runner with a defensive swing. So the bases are wiped clean now with 2 outs. Scott Spezio with a count of 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We've seen a lot of aggressive base running here. We've seen stolen base by the Yankees in the first inning and 2 hit and run tries by the Angels. I think both teams are trying to establish something and get something going early.
A couple of managers who played most of their careers in the National League. And Socia, all of his. Of course, Socia wasn't supposed to play his entire career in the National League, but his last 2 years he couldn't play because of injury when he was with the Padres and then the Texas Rangers. So he ended up playing every game of his career with the Dodgers of Tommy Lasorda. Breaking ball, did he go? No. Sets Phil Cussing down at third base.
I think these speeds are steady down to breaking ball. Breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball, breaking ball.
There's no 2 look alike. As we mentioned, the different arm angles plus the high leg kick. Duque hides the ball so well. 3-2 pitch. Another off-speed breaking ball for the 2-out walk. 3 base runners in the inning. A homer, a single. That runner caught stealing on a botched hit and run. And now a 2-out walk. That'll bring up Benji Molina, the young catcher. Benji got a 31-game cup of coffee with the Angels last year. After putting up those numbers in Edmonton. AAA ballpark where the ball carries very well. They play any night games up there. It's light till about 11 o'clock in the evening up in the province of Alberta during the summer.
The Pacific Coast League has always been known as a league that the hitters can a lot of good things, put up a lot of big numbers.
Surprising recently to hear the Dodgers are going to end their affiliation with Albuquerque, and that club will move to Portland, Oregon. Sosha knows all about Albuquerque. He was a manager there last year, winning 65 and losing 74. After serving as a minor league catching coordinator for 2 years, and then the Dodger bench coach for a couple of seasons. No balls, 1 strike. Fastball popped up, straight back. Losada taking a look, but it's back into the seats. There's a lot of room in foul ground in this ballpark around the infield. Similar in configuration to Dodger Stadium up in LA. It's nice that they've made this a baseball-only park again. Taking out that outfield upper deck that was here because of the Rams when they played football here to increase attendance. And the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Losada sliding beautifully to his right.
Nice stop by Losada. Now, they've made some major changes to this ballpark in the last 10 or 15 years or so. I've noticed 4 or 5 changes. The scoreboards used to be behind home plate, and the big A was showing out in the straight center field. Now it's down the right field line. This ballpark has gone through probably as many changes as any ballpark in baseball, and now built a new one.
Very nice setting here along the freeway. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The 5 is right outside the right field wall here. And it's great to see the ballpark full tonight on opening night in Anaheim. That's Vizio leading off first with 2 down. Angels have a run on the Tim Salmon homer. 1-2, reaching, pulling, and Borges to Knobloch. That'll end the 2nd inning. But the Angels get their first run of the year 2000 as Tim Salmon gets a fastball to work with, and he turned it around quickly. 1-0 Anaheim.
I spilt my beer, my gal, my dear, Sheila.
Beautiful night here in Southern California. The Goodyear blimp is overhead tonight, keeping us company on opening night here at Edison International Field. Top of the 3rd, number 9 batter for the Yankees. Scott Brosius leads off, former World Series MVP 2 years ago. He has been so solid since coming out of the Oakland organization and becoming a Yankee.
He rebounded from a year in '97 where he hit about 200, struggled pretty much the whole year, came over to the Yankees. Yankee fans weren't real thrilled about him coming over, and he's done a great job ever since.
He's adding some impressive things onto his resume. World Series MVP, and then last year he wins his first Gold Glove down in the hot corner. 275 career batting average for Scott Brosius, man from Hillsboro, Oregon, and a fastball on the corner. 2-2. Ken Hill has given the Yankees 1 hit, 2 walks, without a strikeout through 2. High pitch count though, Brian McRae.
Ken Hill is approaching the 50 pitch mark right now. And for 3 innings, that's way too many, especially this early in the season.
Steve Sarcina had to hold back a little bit. Nothing but ground balls, Phil Pito here in Anaheim. What's going on where you are?
Well, we got a fly ball, Bob. Tigers in the Athletics. Bases loaded here in the 4th for Detroit. Bobby Higginson, the batter, 2 out. So everybody is running. Rich Becker coming in from center. Whoops! Big whoops. All 3 runs come in to score. Now 6-1 Detroit, bottom 4.
Wow. Yeah, you hate that to happen in front of the home folks on opening night.
One of those plays that you work on in spring training over and over and over again, and you still see it messed up in the ball game, and it costs 2 runs.
Which Becker, of course, a former Twin, who's known as a pretty solid defensive player. And a fastball high in the strike zone, 1-1 to Chuck Knobloch now. Well, some folks feel Oakland will win the American League West based on how far they came last year. But my initial thoughts on that is that those Texas Rangers sent the rest of the division a message today when they put 10 on the board in their home opener. Mo Vaughn's got this one for the second out. That Texas club gets any pitching with Darren Oliver coming back and some of the good arms they've had there. And, of course, the bullpen. How about Gabe Kapler today with a couple of on-balls, and Pudge Rodriguez did the same.
I think Gabe Kapler made a lot of people forget about Juan Gonzalez today.
Well, I don't know if they'll forget one, but they know they're onto something with a good young slugger. Here's Derek Jeter. Bounced to short his first time up. Knobloch got a base hit leading off the game, and the Yankees have not had one since. Mo Vaughn had a few things flashing in his mind as he approached that first base dugout on opening night.
If he would have moved a couple steps before that, he might have backed off.
Now you might notice the Angels did make a change from the way the configuration was over there last year. If you remember that replay we showed you, there was not a rail there last year. Mo hit that top step and his feet just left him, and he didn't land until he was at the bottom of the dugout. And there's a protective railing there now.
It's just a shame that it takes something like that to happen.
And they did react very quickly. The Angels put that railing up there after the first homestand last year. Hindsight's 2020. They wish they would have had it up there 2 weeks early. And I really think every dugout in baseball should have that there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. These guys are too valuable. They are too prized of commodities to have injuries like that happen.
And also line drives from the dugout like what happened with the Yankees.
2 balls and 2 strikes now to Derek Jeter. Establishing himself as one of the great players in the game. How about this guy? 12 straight postseason games hitting safely. And 17 straight over the last couple of years. He hit safely in all 12 postseason games and in 5 the year before that.
You guys don't get to the postseason. And he's been there a short period of time, 4 years in the business. Before every year.
Contract choice of 92 before Joe Torre was the manager of the Yanks. 3-2 now to Jeter with Paul O'Neill waiting next. Final ball counts for Ken Hill tonight. And a chopper over the mound. Hill back in good fashion. And a 1-2-3. He's retired 7 of the last 8. 6 of them on ground balls.
What do you know? What don't you know?
For a Tim Salmon homer is the difference. He led off the second with a long one to left field. Gary DiSarcina. Maybe there's a future Angel shortstop. He looks more like a first baseman there. Young guys enjoying opening night here in Southern California. The first pitch bouncer out to short. Derek Jeter gobbles it up and throws out his counterpart to start the bottom of the third. Back to the top of the order now for Darren Erstad and then Adam Kennedy against El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. And we congratulate those guys from East Lansing. Michigan State Spartans beating Florida by 13 tonight to win the NCAA championship.
There's a basketball game tonight?
Yes, sir. A big one. Tom Izzo's club got it done. There's a big breaking ball at the knees to Darren Erstad. Base hit going the other way his first time up. The fastball. 1 balls and 2 strikes. field side, but in the outfield they play in the other way. And there's why. Chase Spencer back nearly to the track to grab it. And that's twice. First down as it falls into the outfield to the opposite field.
They're pitching the way you can only do that if you hit that spot. Defense can only play for being told to play. If you don't hit his spot.
Number 2, second base
He's pitching his right there.
There's Adam Kennedy with his second. He really ripped the ball hard his first time up. Problem was with Erstad running on first base, Tino Martinez probably came off the bag with the runner and then nabbed a line drive and turned it into an unassisted double play. Tino well off the line with no runner down there, 2 outs. Angels would love Kennedy to get aboard here and set something up for Mo Vaughn. Fastball high and tight, evens the count, 1-1.
Duke's doing a good job of not using one side of the plate. He's mixing pitches in, mixing pitches out, so he's not falling into any kind of pattern of staying on one side of the plate.
I wonder, the St. Louis Hall of Famer, who also wore number 2, had a little influence on Kennedy choosing number 2 for his number here in Anaheim. Red Shavings, longtime Cardinal, Hall of Famer. That number is retired in St. Louis. And Adam had plenty of contact with Red over the last couple of seasons.
The Red spends a lot of time down there in spring training and works with a lot of these guys. I'm sure that might have had something in Adam's decision.
2 balls, 2 strikes. He's protecting the plate on a 2-strike count and fouls it out of play. And Ryan McRae made the point. Adam Kennedy's first time up. He's very good at making contact. He's one of those guys who knows how to foul off pitches.
He's a test.
He's got some pop. Now he pulls one back.
Pitchers like to face guys that overswing and swing and miss a lot because they can get them out, strike them out, and go on to the next guy. Guys like Adam Kennedy that put the ball in play, foul off pitches, foul off tough pitches. They make you throw more pitches than you think you should during the game.
2 balls, 2 strikes. There's a big breaking ball, and he's got a base hit. Out to right center. He's thinking 2. Alfredo Griffin waves him around. A 2-out head-first slide by Adam Kennedy. Boy, you've got to like what you just saw in that at-bat.
Being smart enough, too, to know that the outfielder running away from his strong side is the left side. With Mo Vaughn coming up, you don't want to run into an out at second base, so you got to make sure you get it in second.
And Barry Larkin found that out today with Griffey on deck. You better be sure you can make it. And Adam was absolutely sure.
Stay back on the breaking ball. Hit it in the gap.
Now
running straight out of the box and turn the single into a double.
First base is open, but Tim Salmon's on deck. Vaughn struck out swinging on a big curveball his first time up. Fastball high and tight. Posada throwing the ball behind the runner, and Derek Jeter had to reach back to grab it.
Trying not to let him get a little bit too far out there on the secondary lead.
Vaughn's a clutch hitter, isn't he? Great numbers with runners at second and on third. There's the 1-0 pitch. There's a little changeup down low, 2-0.
See if you get them to 2-0.
I don't know why you would. He's back in a race. A lead or add to one in a hurry. Most of his homers have an influence on the score one way or the other. There's a big curveball on 2-0. Would you see that in the National League?
I would move on probably. He has such good control of his curveball and his breaking balls that he can throw it at any time in the count. That's what makes him so effective, is because you don't know what he's going to drop on you. He didn't go into any pattern. Behind in the count, he'll drop something on you.
2 balls and a strike. Inside target. Fastball up and in, and Vaughn jerks it out, but way foul. As long as you miss that far inside, you're fine.
Yeah, there's no way to put that ball in the plate fair. It's a long, loud, foul ball. Ball in off the plate. Did a good job of getting his hands to the ball, but there's no way he can keep that ball fair.
Well, that right elbow flew up, and that hitting zone was violated in a hurry. Here's the 2-2 to Mo Vaughn. That one further inside ball 3. If the inning keeps going, El Duque knows there's a tough man waiting next. Joe Torre pondering a 3-2 count with Adam Kennedy at second, Tim Salmon on deck, and Mo Vaughn the batter.
We saw a 3-2 breaking ball last time. Let's see what we'll see this time.
Got him. Looked like a little tight slider out there. And Mo Vaughn strikes out. El Duque's only 2 Ks of the game. And the other 7 outs, all ground balls by Ken Hill tonight. Fastball runs outside 2-0.
And that's a good indication that his fastball is moving and staying down. He's not getting a lot of fly ball outs. Doing a good job with his sinker.
O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, top 4 for the Yanks. And a line drive to right field. That's their first base hit since Knobloch led off the game with a single. Gorgeous night to be flying around Orange County, isn't it? Beautiful aerial pictures tonight, courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle based in nearby Carson, California. Goodyear recently increased its blimp fleet to 7, 2 airships in Europe, 1 in South America, and 1 in Australia. Beautiful night here in Anaheim, California. Bernie Williams bounced out, pulling the ball his first time. Bernie still holds the distinction as being the only man in Major League history, it happened back in '98, to win a batting title, a Gold Glove, and a World Series championship in the same year.
That was a year the Yankees just ran through everybody. I don't think you ever see a team put together that kind of run again.
8th straight year he's been their opening day night center fielder. And he pops one up in the air to left field. Darren Erstad waiting for it to come down. 1 out. Ken Hill with a high pitch count, as Brian mentioned, well up over 40 his first couple of innings. He had a 1-2-3 third. Seems to be operating better early in the count now. O'Neill got his base hit early in the count, then Williams flied out early. And now Tino Martinez steps in. First-year manager Mike Scioscia. Ironically, Mike Scioscia has a little tie to a Yankee. That's an interesting story. 1,441 games, all for Tommy Lasorda. The most any player has played for one manager in Major League history.
Who found that?
Oh, we dug deep for this one, Brian. and guess who the runner-up was? A Yankee, Gil McDougall, who played 1,336 games, managed by Casey Stengel. His entire Major League career playing for one manager, and a good career it was. No balls and 2 strikes to Tino. Double play possibility if you can get the grounder. That's why O'Neill's running. Pitch low. Oh, what a throw. Benji Molina right on the base for the caught stealing 2 down. And he's gunned out Knobloch and now O'Neill.
0-2 is generally not a good count to steal in. Outside, Molina throws the ball right there on the bag, and it's not even close. Right on the bag.
Base is empty, 2 outs now, and now Ken Hill 1 strike away from ending the inning. And there it is. His first strikeout of the night, a quick fourth for Hill. Good news for the Angels. Salmon, the home run guy, coming up.
Watch NBA Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday on ESPN2.
Well, we mentioned his health earlier. See Garrett Anderson in the background, Mo Vaughn. A potent lineup. Ball down to short. Big hop for Jeter. And a long throw for the first down. Leadoff man retired in the fourth. Bill Pito back in the studio.
All right, Bob, earlier today, Pudge Rodriguez, last year's MVP, picking up right where he left off. He had a 3-run home run in the third. And then he had a 2-run home run in the fifth. Gabe Kapler, the new Ranger, also hit 2 home runs. And Texas drilled the White Sox, opening up with a 10-4 victory. Bob, back to you.
Well, Bill, people can talk about Oakland and Anaheim being healthy this year in the AL West and Seattle after Griffey, but I think you've got to consider Texas the front runner until somebody knocks off the champ, and they put 10 on the board at home today.
They're going to do that regularity. That's a team that can score a lot of runs. They swing the bats well. I like the addition of David Segui.
Versatile guy. One of the great defensive players in recent Major League memory at first base. Let's have a look at Tim Salmon homering on opening day for the 3rd time in his career.
Does what you do.
It was a no-doubter to the bullpen in left field.
That's what you do with a pitch out in the middle of the plate. Don't miss it.
No balls, 2 strikes. And reaching Garrett Anderson. Boy, El Duque worked him over. 2 quick outs here in the 4th. And Brian, I mentioned when we came out of our break how easy the game looks from up here. I've had a lot of players tell me that. Ozzie Smith, who knows a little bit about playing baseball, told me that his first night in the broadcast booth 3 years ago. What do you think? A little easier up here when you look down and see that diamond from above?
No, it's not easier the further away you get from it. I know how hard this game is, and my buddies were teasing me, like, don't rag on us. And I won't do that because I do realize that this is a pretty hard game.
And folks out there who, if you don't know, Brian McRae was still in a Major League camp less than a week ago, up until last Tuesday with the Cardinals. 1 ball, no strikes. The Jim Edmonds acquisition sort of solidified the St. Louis outfield, and suddenly there were no vacancy signs hanging all over the place. And then there was a possibility that you could have gone to another club, but you kind of decided to do the broadcasting thing, which you have done and prepared yourself for a number of years.
Yeah, I've been doing some more broadcasting work for the last 6 years. I started when we went on strike in '94. That kind of got my mindset ready for life after baseball.
Good for you. Fly ball out to O'Neill. A 1-2-3 4th inning for Orlando Hernandez. He's retired 4 straight. When we come back, Ricky Leday will lead off, then Posada and Spencer in a 1-0 ball game in Anaheim. Seattle, and it'll be Pedro Martinez. How will he follow up his Cy Young season? He was unbelievable last year. By the way, we'll begin our coverage with baseball tonight at 7 Eastern. And after opening day is completed, or right now if you're at home, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Anything you've missed from today and tonight, you can find it on our website.
It rhymes.
Thank you. 19 pitches first inning, 24 in the second by Ken Hill. So he was at 43. Now he's gone 14-10 the last 2 innings. 1 ball, 1 strike to Ricky Leday. And he fades that one low-hander. 112 career wins with 100 losses. 16-game winner 3 times in his career. Coming off a 4-11 injury-filled 99. Just a dreadful year for the Angels. Vaughn, Salmon, Edmonds, all injured. Hill. Pitching staff a mess. They couldn't score runs. Terry Collins gone. Mike Scioscia on. Another ground ball. Kennedy. In fact, last inning was the first time they did not have a ground ball out. There was a base hit and a caught stealing, a fly ball to left, and then Ken Hill's first strikeout. But he's been making his living tonight, having the Yankees pound the ball into the Edison International Field dirt in front of home plate.
It's a very good sign. If you're an Angel fan, you like to see that.
Posada next, and then Spencer. First opening day start for Jorge Posada. What a good catching platoon they had with him and Joe Girardi.
Not a lot of teams have the luxury to carry a catcher like Girardi for what he was making salary-wise last year. The Yankees are one of the few teams that can do that, and it paid off for them.
The Yankees had a former Gold Glove catcher, Tom Pagnozzi, in their camp this year, hoping he could make the club for one more go-round with Joe Torre, who was his manager in St. Louis. Pagnozzi didn't make it, then retired, as the Yankees kept young Wilson Delgado as their backup. No balls and 2 strikes to Posada, who walked his first time.
If the gun readings are correct, and they probably are like 40 times in football, Ken Hill is throwing a lot harder now than he was earlier in the ballgame.
As we mentioned earlier, we spotted some good movement on his pitches. There's a high-riding fastball for a strike. Posada gone. Hey, Tim McClellan has been calling the high strike all night. He has not been giving Hill the low outside pitch, but he gives him this fastball up and in.
Hill had thrown a lot of pitches inside. Frozen. It looked like Posada was looking out over the plate and just freezing the ball coming back over the plate.
Hey, if you're thinking about the strike zone as it should be, that is a strike.
It's not called a whole lot. Hitters get used to the ball being down is the one that's called a strike, not the ball being up.
It's going to be interesting as they integrate the umpires from both leagues working on crews together. So McClellan, a longtime American League umpire, calling the high strike. Shane Spencer bounced out on a good play by Troy Glaus his first time. The Yankees have had only 1 over the minimum base runners in the last 4 innings, and only 2 over the minimum the entire game because of a couple that caught stealing. Ball in, a strike to the young slugger Spencer.
Looks like Kenny Hill's coming into a groove now. He's not throwing as many pitches, not as far behind in the count to every batter like he was before.
The last thing Mike Scioscia wanted to do was have to go to his bullpen early on opening night, based on some of the struggles Hill and the rotation had last year. But I will note, in saying that, they have 7 right-handers in their bullpen and left-hander Kent Mercker. So Scioscia is loaded in the bullpen.
They're well equipped if something happens.
That they are. 3 balls and a strike. Buddy Black, the pitching coach, alongside. They will be doing a lot of visiting this year. Mo Vaughn to the pitcher. Hangs him out. Runner safe. Mo Vaughn threw that ball behind Ken Hill, and it looked like Hill came down to the bag at the exact same time Shane Spencer, and everybody knows from the playground Ty goes to the runner.
Mo threw him a changeup. He had to stop his momentum, and
he beat him down.
It beat him down.
Terry Kraft, the first base umpire, missing that one. Yeah, Lee Mazzilli's saying safe, but the replay shows that Ken Hill was down.
See if Ken Hill can get his composure back to get Brocious, because if he's worrying about that play at first and lays something over the middle to Brocious, it could be a 2-1 ball game.
They're going to give Mo Vaughn an error on the throw. Watch the feet.
Down, and Toe gets to the front of the bag.
Yep. Angels with their first error of the year, although a questionable call. And Scott Brocious gets a 2-out chance. Snap throw. No chance for a tag. Ken Hill's only given up 2 hits. Each man getting a hit has been caught stealing. Fastball way up and away, 2-0.
I think Kenning's a little rattled because of that call at first base. And he needs to kind of snap out of it, get himself together, and not dig himself into a deep hole.
He's throwing so well. He's got to keep doing what he's been doing. His manager has to be pleased. Short lead at first by Spencer. 2-0 pitch. There's that low pitch that he has not been getting from Tim McClellan tonight. And it's interesting that the Yankees have made so many outs on ground balls while Ken Hill is not getting the low call.
They're used to swinging at those pitches. McClellan's zone, I don't think they might have had him in spring training. He might have been on the other side.
3-0. There's a fastball. There's a high strike at the letters. Of course, Yankees train in Tampa. Now a 3-1 pitch. There's a high strike on the outside corner. This will give the Yankees a chance to move the runner down with 2 outs. Spencer, not great speed. Mo Vaughn's going to play behind him, but close to him to keep him from getting too far off the bag.
The gap is still going to be hard to score.
Little tap with the glove to let him know he's there. Maybe 3 or 4 taps. Now he'll back up, and a 3-2 pitch coming. Way upstairs, ball 4. So that's got to be disturbing to Ken Hill. His 3rd walk of the night. He should have been in the dugout about 7 pitches ago. And Bud Black, a very good left-hander in his time, will come to the mound.
That's the thing with errors. When things are going well, they kind of snowball. And when a team is playing bad, like the Angels were last year, probably when things like this happen, the guys looked at each other and said, oh my God, here we go again, and gave up a bunch of runs. And this is something that they have to try to stop for this year. And hopefully Ken Hill can get out of this rally.
From way out there in left field. Edison International Field. 330 down the lines. 380 in the gap in left. 370 with that big scoreboard out in right. 400 straight away. A fair ballpark. I think some of the new parks, and this is strictly my opinion, I think they're overdoing it with this 315 stuff down the lines. I mean, Houston and San Francisco, left field and right field. That's a little cheap.
Fans want to see the ball go out the ballpark.
12-10 every night, though? I know Bagwell, Biggio and company will like it, but I'm not so sure Jose Lima and his buddies are going to like it a whole lot.
Got to keep the ball down.
Barry Bonds will like it.
He'll be hitting the ball in the water.
Sure will. I mean, hey, a fly ball that goes 335 can be a home run. Why make one 315? The purist is coming out in us on opening night here. 2 balls and no strikes. It's turning into a very long inning for Ken Hill now. Knobloch the bat. Half swing. Low Vaughn. Backhand. I bet he gets this one on target. Barely. Barely. And Ken Hill, his 2nd athletic play of the inning. Yankees strand 2. They've left 4. 1-0 Angels. Orange County, the home of the Anaheim Angels. And we go bottom 5. Spezio, Molina, and D. Sarcina are the Halos who lead 1-0 on the Tim Salmon home run. Scott Spezio, the DH, walked his first time up. As we mentioned last time, Angels DHs hit only 258 last year. 4th worst in the league. The Yankees had pretty good production out of theirs, hitting 275, which was top 7 in the American League. And that was sort of indicative of the Yankees. They didn't have any numbers that were way up there. Mickey Hatcher, the new hitting coach for the Angels. And you know, with Mick calling the shots, they will be an aggressive ball club. I don't know if any of them will crawl from 3rd base to home like he did one day to score. slapping his bare hand on home plate after falling down. He was one of the great characters in the game.
But they have some fun sessions there in the cage.
Yeah, good baseball guy, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I like the staff that Scioscia's put together here. Little chopper, trouble if it's fair. It's fair. Scott Brosius knew he didn't have a play. Scott Spezio, a scratch hit down the third baseline. And baseball continues this Wednesday. A good night if you can switch from ESPN over to 2 later. Cubs Cardinals at 7. Sammy's in town. We hope Big Mac is back in the lineup for St. Louis. And then at 10:30 Eastern, you can switch over to ESPN 2. Joe Morgan will be here with me as we see the finale of this series. Yankees and Angels. David Cohn on the mound Wednesday night for New York. That's the way it'll be every Wednesday night on ESPN this year. Our late game will be on ESPN 2 at either 7 o'clock Pacific or 7:30. Sometimes a half hour earlier for you folks back in the East Coast and in the Midwest. 1 ball and no strikes to Benji Molina, leadoff man aboard for the Angels, 3rd time in 5 innings. The Erstad single in the 1st. He was doubled off. The Salmon homer next inning. And now the Scott Spezio bouncer down the 3rd baseline. Benji Molina, pretty good bat last year. He had 286 at AAA. Drove in 41 runs at Edmonton. He goes upstairs and pops one. Derek Jeter's got the angle. Outfield grass. Spencer backs him up, and that's the 1st out. Remaining at first base, Scott Spezio. Number 9 man, Gary DiSarcina coming in. El Duque's only given up 4 hits, but one of them a big fly to Tim Salmon.
This is a good hit-and-run situation here. You have a guy, DiSarcina, that handles the bat real well. Game is kind of slow-paced down now. Nothing's happening. It's a good time to try to get some runners in motion and see if you can make something out of nothing.
Back in '95, the Angels had a real luxury. It was Gary DiSarcina's only 300 season. He batted .307. But he was the number 9 hitter back then. What a luxury you have in the American League as a manager when you've got an offense with a 300 guy batting way down there.
He's also one of the guys in the clubhouse that all the other players look to. He's been here for a long time. He's a good leader.
And he's another guy who had the freak injury last year when then hitting coach Jordan Henrik, hitting fungos on the infield, inadvertently wrapped him on the arm on his follow-through and broke the arm.
That's a sure sign right there that things aren't.
It's not your year, right? If you're looking for an omen, watch your first baseman fall into the dugout and your shortstop get his arm broken in batting practice. 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball, no. Faded inside, ball 2. Orlando Hernandez, first opening day start. The first foreign-born Yankee pitcher to ever start a season opener. In fact, his brother, Levan Hernandez, starting for the Giants at Florida earlier today. Who was the first Cuban to ever start an opening night? It happened 3 years ago in Oakland with Ariel Prieto. And then Levan Hernandez did it for the Marlins in '98. He did it again tonight along with El Duque. A pitch up. DiSarcina base hit up the middle. And this is the first time tonight either team, well, make it the first time for the Angels. Yankees just did it. Each team with 2 runners aboard only once tonight now. The error and the walk in the top of this inning, and now the 2 singles in the bottom for Anaheim.
Spezio did a good job of freezing on the line drive. All runners are taught to freeze on the line drive. He probably wouldn't have been able to go to third anyway, but he did hold up, made sure the ball went through the infield so he didn't get doubled up.
Back to the top of the order now. Darren Erstad 1 for 2 with a base hit. Well, you know the Angels are not going to be last in the league in hitting this year. They hit only .256 as a club. They scored 189 runs less than the Yankees did. And the Yankees were just in the top 3 in the league. Only 158 home runs. That won't cut it in the American League.
Speaking of which, we're not playing an American League ball game. It's 1-0 in the 5th. I didn't think we were going to have this.
Well, if it takes 2 hours to play 5 innings, then you'll know it's an American League game. Fastball up. 1 ball, 1 strike. And the DH has a heavy influence on that. And over the years, Brian, you would think that the National League and American League games would blend together as the free agents move to and fro from league to league. But that DH will keep it from ever getting identical.
Yeah, you look in the box scores in the papers and you look at the times, and there's hardly a game played in the American League that's under 3 hours.
1 ball, 1 strike. And it's low and away, 2-1.
Which is okay because we get paid by the minute, right?
Orlando Hernandez for the Yankees, visiting Anaheim here at Edison International Field. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. A 1-0 Anaheim lead on the Tim Salmon 2nd inning leadoff homer. 2 balls, 1 strike. Popped him up, had him reaching. Jeter out, Spencer in. Oh, and they let it drop. Bases are loaded. Jeter peeled off as if Spencer had called the ball, and then Spencer did not make his move to catch it. You would think the way Brian Jeter reacted, or Derek Jeter, that he heard somebody call him off.
As an outfielder, you're coming in, you're in charge. If you see the shortstop running back the way Derek Jeter was, he wasn't sure of, you got to come in and call him off and get him out of there and make that catch. I don't think anybody called the ball. They're both kind of anticipating somebody doing something, and that's not the thing to do. The outfielder has to be the one that's assertive, has to call it off, call it loud. It's a big crowd here. You got to get him out of there and come in and catch the ball. That ball shouldn't drop at all.
Bases loaded, 1 out. RBI opportunity plus for Adam Kennedy. Brosius in at 3rd, everybody else playing back.
Little things like that happen seem so simple. Miscommunication, assuming that somebody's going to do something. Those are the type of things that cost you some of these 1- and 2-run ball games.
Well, Stottlemyre to the mound. Well, as we mentioned earlier, the Yankees, a little bit different look in the outfield. Tim Raines is gone. Dale Strawberry, not much of a defensive player late in his career, also gone. So Spencer's in left field tonight with Ricky Leday, who would normally be in left, playing center because of Bernie Williams' sore arm.
As a pitcher, you're frustrated. You made a good pitch to a tough hitter in a tough situation. When the ball leaves and goes up in the air, you're thinking, I got him, and work on the next hitter, and then you see it drop that like that. It kind of deflates you.
1 ball, no strikes. Hernandez missed by plenty. Yeah, look who's on deck. Mo Vaughn. This could be a huge inning for the Angels. They've out-hit the Yankees 7-2. Breaking ball. Kennedy lashing it foul. That ball broke so far inside he couldn't hit it fair.
And the funny thing, this inning started with the swinging bunt.
That's Scott Spezio. East Arcina, the only solid hit of the inning, a line drive up the middle with 1 out. One the count. Kennedy fisted. Easy play for Brosius. I wonder if Scott Brosius had enough time to think about letting that ball drop. He could have forced guys all over the place. Here's Mo Vaughn with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Last year on opening day, the Angels lost Mo Vaughn. Tonight on opening day, Mo Vaughn could propel them to a great start. El Duque has rung him up twice tonight. Hernandez only 2 strikeouts. But the more Mo Vaughn sees your repertoire as the game goes on, the more dangerous he becomes.
As a hitter in this situation, you're looking for something good to drive.
That was a line drive that hit the ground just short of the bag. Scooting foul. Terry Kraft making the call.
Mo turned on just a little bit too much, and he was praying for it probably to hit the bag. That's a bad feeling because you know that you let him get away with the pitch and you could have drilled him through.
No balls, one strike. There's the sinking fastball, 1-1. So what's Mo Vaughn thinking right now, Brian McRae, with the bases juiced and 2 outs?
He's trying to get a good pitch to hit and put the good part of the bat on it and hit it hard somewhere. And hopefully he forgot about the 2 strikeouts earlier in the game because he can win the ball game and put them ahead. Do some serious damage against Orlando Hernandez right here.
I think Mo Vaughn's pretty good at focusing in on this situation. And the 1-1 coming. Pretty good pitch by El Duque.
Pulled a string.
Yeah, really did. That ball really had some downward movement on it at the end. It was there and then it wasn't.
Seems like El Duque is making tougher pitches in these tough situations. Threw a cutter in on Kennedy, got him to hit a little pop-up, and now he's pitching Mo pretty tough.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball up.
These situations are what makes a pitcher just an average guy or a guy that can really help your ball club because he's not giving in. He's going right at these guys, and he likes this situation. He didn't let everything get him down with the missed pop-up. He's going to help out his teammates and get out of this.
Mo Vaughn has hit 8 career grand slams. His team ahead by 1. He could really increase that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Got him on another splitter. Beautifully done by Hernandez, low and away. He has 3 strikeouts tonight. Mo Vaughn every time. Angels have now stranded 5.
Junior, how's it going? Fine, how are you?
Got to see with the changeup. And then the big situation goes back to that changeup. He's trying to stay away from Mo's strength and throwing the ball away from him.
Yeah, that changeup in the 3rd up a little bit, but it still had the good movement late. And then Mo Vaughn rung up 3 times by Orlando Hernandez. Top of the 6th now. Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams. Right around the 80 pitch mark through 5.
That was the only high-stress inning of pitches that he had. Ken Hill has had a lot of pitches, a lot of things going on, and they finally tried to get to that Duque. That inning, he came through. That was a good job of pitching against some pretty tough hitters.
Hey, this is what you're looking for opening night. Both starters. Tight, low-scoring ball game. We're about to wrap up the middle innings here in Anaheim. 0-2 to Jeter, and a breaking ball in the dirt. Deep short, tough play. Diving DiSarcina, no chance for a throw. And a Jeter base hit. Only the Yankees' 3rd of the night. They've all been leadoff hits in the first by Knobloch, O'Neill in the 4th, and now Jeter here in the top of the 6th inning. One of the world's most enduring symbols, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, providing our beautiful aerial pictures tonight. Goodyear blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year, covering major sporting events. And at that speed, it's a lot of miles.
It don't look like it's moving at all.
No, we're not talking Mach 1 here. We're talking beautiful pictures in Orange County, California tonight. Paul O'Neill, perfect night with a walk and a base hit. Yankees stole 104 bases last year, 5th lowest in the league. But Derek Jeter had 19. How about this in a tight situation?
The way Molina's been throwing, I don't know. They might go with a hit and run.
A lot of hitting room over there for Paul O'Neill.
Just leave that hole open, try to get first to third.
So given that, with a good sinker, but not necessarily getting calls for strikes, what's Ken Hill's strategy against such a good hitter right here?
Well, he's got to think that O'Neill going to try to maybe hook a ball, try to get through that hole. He's going to try to keep the ball maybe away from him. He's going to try to get a ground ball like he's been getting all these ground balls to get a double play.
Well hit center field. Anderson going back. It is gone. A 2-run homer for Paul O'Neill. And I think we can tell by the reaction, Brian McRae, there are some Yankee fans out here in Southern California.
Just a few. Yankee fans have been really quiet until that 2-run home run. Now they're coming out in full force. Look out, a hanging breaking ball. About the only pitch that Ken Hill has got up and out over the plate all game, and O'Neill didn't miss it. Good hitters don't miss the mistakes the pitchers make. Hey, don't get hurt out there, guys.
Here's Bernie Williams. Look out. He can go back-to-back on you very quickly.
People do crazy things for an $8 ball.
Don't they, though? Paul O'Neill's 243rd career home run. He had 19 for the Yankees last year, driving in 110. 2-1 New York. Bernie Williams, the batter. But this is typical Yankee baseball. You might shut them down for 5 innings, but they'll always keep it close, and they are so good in the clutch. They always seem to do the right things in tight game situations.
I think what happened in the last half inning with Alduki getting them out of that jam, that pumped them up, and offensively they fed off that. They get the 2 runs.
And I guarantee you, Mike Scioscia just had something brief flash through his mind when he saw that ball leave the ballpark. Its name, Rivera. Anytime you give the lead to the Yankees in the middle to late innings, you immediately start thinking about their ever-efficient closer. Little early for him, but I guarantee you he's being thought of right now. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Yankees have doubled their hit total here in the last 2 batters. Bernie Williams slaps one out to short. Charging nicely, DiSarcina, 1 out. That ball hit right down at the end of the barrel and might have even busted that bat. It had a funny sound coming out.
It did sound a little good coming out the bat. DiSarcina makes a good running play to get that. If he lays back on that ball the way Bernie Williams runs, it's going to be a closer play at first.
So Ken Hill gets a big out. The skipper's coming to the mound now. Hey, you have to wonder, Brian, the error last inning and the walk, how much of an effect did that have on Ken Hill now in this inning?
I think he exerted a lot of pitches and a lot of energy the last inning that probably he shouldn't have done. He should have been sitting in there 10, 15 minutes maybe earlier than he did, and I think that's something that got to him.
Yeah, they're making the move. It'll be 5 1/3 for Ken Hill. 2 runs on 4 hits. Paul O'Neill's homer puts the Yankees on top and knocks Ken Hill out of this game.
90 years ago, fans thrilled to the exploits of baseball's power hitters who belted as many as 9, 10, or even 12 homers a season. The game has changed, and so is the way we...
Ken Hill had things going his way pretty well until the O'Neill homer. Ken Merker, who really wants to be a starter. Those are his numbers with the Cardinals and Red Sox last year. The only left-hander now out of the Anaheim bullpen.
Yeah, I'm sure as the season goes on, he's going to get a chance to start. He's been effective as a starter the last few years, and it's something that maybe this ball club will need to mix it up with all the righties they have and have a lefty starter.
He'll face Tino Martinez, a left-hander, starting things off here. Merker, a well-traveled veteran who broke in with the Braves as one of their young guns back in '89. Was there till '96 when he moved over to the American League Baltimore and had a high ERA there. little time with Cleveland, the Reds in '97, St. Louis the last 2 years before moving on to Boston. Out to the gap in right center. A base hit for Tino Martinez. And the Yankees have 3 of their 5 hits within the last 4 batters. Not a bad outing for Ken Hill. He got over 100 pitches when Bernie Williams grounded out after the O'Neill homer. But I have to think that 5th inning, he had 2 outs, bases empty. Went to first base to cover on a ground ball. Mo Vaughn gave him a bad throw, but he still beat the runner. Terry Kraft, though, called it safe. Then he walked the next man, Brosius, extending that inning at least a dozen pitches or more. And then he comes out the following inning and gets hit hard. Ricky Ledeo for 2 with a couple of ground balls. Might have busted his bat on that one. He's checking the trademark.
It's interesting that they're letting Ledee hit against the lefty when they have Roberto Keller on the bench. Ledee didn't play a whole lot against left-handers last year.
Well, this may be a sign of what we were talking about, huh?
They're just going to let him go out there and get his ABs and see what happens.
There's Roberto Kelly, outstanding center fielder.
And he crushes left-handers.
1-1 pitch. Well, maybe if the Yankees were down 1-0 instead of ahead, Joe Torre would make that move. Right now he's got the lead and wants to see what the youngster can do to help him increase it. One-two. Mo Vaughn playing in front of the runner. That is down the line and just foul. Just hooked enough.
Like he hung him a little breaking ball, but they stayed back on it really well.
One ball and 2 strikes. Low and away, that evens the count. Chopper to third. That was a broken bat. Gloss on the run. Throws out Ledee. 2 outs, and down to second base goes Tino Martinez. Troy Gloss figures to be at third base here for quite a while. Live bat, hits for power, which you want from your third baseman. Saw him go to right field and get a base hit tonight. After hitting .240 a year ago. We'll see him hacking in the next inning. This is a big out if Merker can get it, because some very good Anaheim hitters are coming up. Posada the batter. Merker floats that changeup away, ball 1. He's got a real good changeup.
Yeah, he uses that almost exclusively in tough situations. You can sit on the changeup with him. That's the pitch he uses a lot. Get the hitter out in front, trying to get you to just kind of roll over the ball, not use your legs. It's a very effective pitch for him.
72 miles an hour that last one. 71 that time. In fact, I asked Kent in St. Louis last year, when is a changeup no longer a changeup? If you work, you work it 3 or 4 times in a row. He said that's really got nothing to do with it. It's all the arm speed that you're showing the batter.
Right, he throws his changeup like he throws his fastball, and you're looking for the arm speed. You can't pick it up until it's too late. He got you lunging, and he has you all outflung.
He's behind, though, 2-0. That's when he can get in trouble. Now he goes with a fastball, and he gets that high call from Tim McLovin. 86 on that heater. Missing low and away, ball 3.
The thing you got to do with Tim Merker is make him throw strikes with his changeup. That's something that hitters sometimes have a problem with. Changeup looks good, and you see it real well, but it's not a strike. When he doesn't throw it for strikes, he usually works behind him in the count, and that's when you can get him with the weight on his fastball.
3-1 pitch. Well hit right field. Cruising over Salmon. Yeah, you catch it, then you get the lead off. It always happens. Tim Salmon has a homer tonight, but Paul O'Neill's long one in this inning, the difference. Straight away center. He knew it, and the Yankees took the lead, 2-1.
What makes you...
It becomes opening night here in Southern California, bottom of the 6th inning. And this thing could get interesting in a hurry as Tim Salmon steps in as the tying run against Orlando Hernandez. Solo homer leading off the second. Ground ball his second time up in the 4th. He's been a leadoff man twice tonight. So the Angels haven't done a good job of setting the table for their cleanup hand. Breaking ball low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. But Tim Salmon has really been consistent in the 90s for the Angels. His lowest home run total, 23 in 94. His lowest RBI total, 95 the year before that. With the exception of 94 and last year when he had some injury problems. But when he's been healthy, he's always been up in the 90s, 100 RBI range.
He's a run producer. Whenever they put him in the lineup, wherever they've been putting him when he's healthy, he's been able to produce him. But what's been the problem with some of these players is just injuries. Injuries have taken a toll and hurt this ball club and kind of set him back a little bit.
And a couple of years ago, he played with that arch injury, actually a tear of the muscle in there that just kept tearing further and further as the year went on. Some guys thought he was crazy for playing through that. 2-2 and a breaking ball strikes him out. That's the first non-Mo Vaughn strikeout of the night by an Angel batter.
Looks like El Duque is getting his strikeouts now with breaking ball, changeup. He's going exclusively to that in these situations and putting it in the spots where you can't do a whole lot with it.
Yeah, he definitely had Salmon flying all over the place that time.
So if he does make contact, he's going to roll over it or flip it somewhere, and he's not going to be able to drive the ball.
Here's Garrett Anderson, who's 0 for 2. A young man of vast potential. He has a 300 career batting average after hitting 303 last year. He played all but 5 games last season, had 620 at bats. Only 80 RBIs, but as we said earlier, the Angels never had that many guys on base for anybody last season. 21 homers, a lot of them solos. And he flies this one down the left field line. It is slicing toward the seats and about 2 rows in. Well, it's great to see this ballpark full. Not always the case here in Southern California. Yankees will draw well for the Angels in this 3-game series. Ken Bottenfield goes for Anaheim in his Angel debut tomorrow night. Against Roger Clemens, David Cohn, and Scott Schoenweiss on Wednesday night. That's a fair ball. Martinez to the bag himself for the second out.
There's another breaking ball.
So the bases are empty with 2 down. Let's check in again with Bill Pito.
All right, Bob, earlier today, Kansas City and Toronto, Shannon Stewart had 2 home runs for the Jays. Tony Batista already has 1 home run. He's up in the bottom of the 9th, a tie ball game, 2 out, and there it goes. Second home run of the day for Batista, and it wins it. Toronto over KC. The final score today was 5-4.
And Fregosi happy about that one. He put in a lot of time out here in Anaheim.
Tony Batista has proven that that wasn't a fluke what he did last year. I don't know what happened to him on the way from Arizona to Toronto last year, but whatever it was, he caught something good north of the border and has been doing a great job since he's become a Blue Jay.
How about that setup of his getting ready for the pitch? You talk about facing the pitcher.
You can't teach it, and you don't want anybody to follow that, but it works for him.
Troy Glaus 1 for 2 with a single. There's a guy who could tie the game with one swing. 29 long balls a year ago. Hernandez keeps it away from him with a fastball, 2-0.
It's funny how a change of scenery helps certain guys out. Sometimes it hurts guys in some situations. Knobloch coming over here to the Yankees. A lot of people said the AstroTurf made him a better defensive player than he really might have been, and now some of his defensive shortcomings are coming up now that he's on grass playing every day.
Chuck Knobloch, not exactly a gold glover. He knows how to lead off a ball game or an inning and get on base for some of these Yankee hitters. Glaus draws the 2-out walk, and that's as good as a hit for them down by a run. For El Duque, his second walk of the night. How about Sunday Night Baseball? 11th year, Alomar, Ramirez, and Tomey. Canseco waiting with those sluggers like Greg Vaughn and Fred McGriff in Tampa Bay. How about those Devil Rays lineup this year? Coverage begins baseball tonight, 7:30 Eastern, followed by the Indians Devil Rays on Sunday Night Baseball. We're all over it this week, folks. Opening day, opening night. We've got the Red Sox at Seattle tomorrow night. Our traditional 2 games on Wednesday, and then we've got Sunday night action to wrap up your first week of the 2000 season. And Griffey's debut on ESPN today, an 0 for 2 and a 3.36 inning rainout. We had a slugger named Paquette replacing McGuire and helping the Cardinals beat the Cubs today, 7-1 in St. Louis. On ESPN2, we had a great ball game at Shea with the Mets beating the Padres 2-1. And on ESPN2, we had Galarraga hitting a homer as the Braves beat the Rockies.
That was great to see. Coming back from cancer and all he's been through. He had a great spring. They didn't expect him to do what he'd done in spring after missing a whole year, and then to hit a home run on that opening day. That was an awesome thing to see.
And we had that Toronto-Kansas City game today on our ESPN regional coverage. Seven games total from around opening day we brought you today. 1 ball and no strikes to Scott Spezio, who's had a walk and an infield hit. El Duque fading one away, and he snapped his glove as if he thought that should have been a strike. I don't think he was happy with that Tim McClellan ball 2 call. Target away. Fastball low and away. Ball 3.
Could be tiring a little bit right now. Probably up around the 85 and 90 pitch mark.
Yeah, he was at 84 earlier in this inning. Mel Stottlemyre is going to place a phone call to the bullpen. 3 balls, no strikes. It's a fastball outside half.
Have to remember, still early in the season. You don't know how long the pitching is going to go. They're going to let these pitchers stretch their arms out and go 6, 7 innings. I don't think they might not let them do it with a high pitch count.
Yankees have a right-hander up. There's another walk. 2 in a row. 3 in the game for El Duque. He's walked Spezio twice. Mel Stottlemyre will walk to the mound after he made a call a moment ago that got Jason Grimsley up and throwing. Now he's being joined by a left-hander. Yankees have 2 lefties in their bullpen. Mike Stanton and the man who's now throwing, Alan Watson. Watson nearest you. Late season pickup last year. Grimsley's now thrown about 5 or 6 warm-up tosses. So Mel Stottlemyre buying some time here. Number 8 hitter Benji Molina next for the Angels. Tying runs at second base. Benji 0 for 2 with a ground ball. And to pop up his numbers at AAA Edmonton last year when he hit 7 homers and drove in 41. Then he got 77 days of Major League action with the Angels, hitting .257.
Seems like the Angels have had runners on base the last 2 or 3 innings, and 2 or 3 guys all over the place, and haven't been able to come through with a big 2-out hit.
Yeah, bases loaded last inning after the fluke fell in. Stranded all 3. They left a runner in the second, a runner in the third after having a runner doubled off first base in the first. So they're getting some opportunities here. Breaking ball, a good one, right to the end of Molina's bat, and now it's 0-2.
The pace has slowed down considerably when guys get on base.
Two on, 2 out, and an 0-2 count to Benji Molina. Had him reaching. You talk about 3 good pitches. Knobloch. And they strand 2 more with runners in scoring position, and 0 for 4 by the Angels tonight, and they've stranded 7 runners down by 1.
Just telling him that he battled and did a good job, and maybe he didn't want to come out.
He obviously not happy with himself for those 2 walks in a row, but he pitched around it. He completely overmatched Benji Molina for that last out. Shane Spencer for the Yankees tops 7-1 New York, despite being out hit 7-5. And remember, the Angels had a chance to break this game wide open. Spencer, a drive right center. This ball is gone. It is a home run into the first row above the scoreboard.
As we had talked about last inning, when Murphy gets behind, he's behind 2-0, fastball away. He needs to work ahead of the count to use his changeup effectively. Spencer's geared up for a fastball. He got it. Good load. Good extension.
And it just went right with it. He's strong enough to hit it out of any part of any park.
Yeah, he didn't have to pull the ball.
Yankees have their second long one of the night. A 3-1 lead now. And Brogie's the batter.
Hitters can be a lot more aggressive when the count's in their favor.
It's about a 16-foot high scoreboard out there. If that guy had made the play, there wouldn't have been any doubt. But Paul Schreiber, the second base umpire, was well out into center field to give the home run call. Notice the MLB on the caps. Major League logo on the warm-ups. No more NLAL.
It's going to be kind of hard to get used to.
I guess that means Al Clark would never get to wear his name on his cap again in the American League. And a pop-up out behind short. Darren Erstad under it. We go back to the top of the order for Chuck Knobloch. And again, back to the point I was about to make when Spencer hit the home run. You go back to the 5th inning for the Angels when Spencer allowed the fly ball to drop in front of him in left field, loading the bases with 1 out. Angels led 1-0, but then Adam Kennedy popped up and Mo Vaughn struck out. And a chance to bust the game wide open disappeared because of El Duque's pitching. Now the Yankees turn around and take the lead right away from you. That's the way they played this game.
Seems like the whole momentum swung in a different direction after they got out of that jam.
It's almost as if the Yankees said, okay, you had your shot. Now it's our turn to take over the ballgame. And that's what they've been doing for 4 years. Off the end of the bat by Knobloch. Mo Vaughn chasing. Adam Kennedy chasing. He's got the angle and the foul ball. 2 down. Got a brand new show on ESPN2, our newest studio show, Baseball Today, every Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific throughout the season. Harold Reynolds, Peter Gammons, Rich Eisen. A fresh look at the game's trends, issues, and personalities. We'll also have live reports from Sunday's biggest games. Every Sunday at noon Eastern on ESPN2. And for more, you can always log on to ESPN.com, a part of the Go Network. Go.com. Yeah, we're all over baseball on ESPN2 this year with that new show and our Wednesday night late games. Fly ball from the bat of Jeter. Deep right center. Anderson under it, and he catches it about 385 feet away. Yankees pull out some lumber, settle for 1 in the top of the 7th. Spencer's homer, 3-1 New York.
Catch what's coming to DirecTV.
At mailboxes, etc. We get it done, and we get it done right. And by Pemmican Beef Jerky. Need some help to get you through the day? Pack Pemmican Beef Jerky, and you'll survive the day.
We've got some Halo fans here in Southern California tonight, but right now their team down by 2. Bottom 7. Gary DiSarcina leads off. El Duque back out there. So evidently he was getting advice, not congratulations on a job well done. They'll give it a try. This may be his last inning. He's around that 100 pitch mark. DiSarcina 1 for 2 with a base hit. Hacks one out to center. Right there, Ricky Ledet. Got a game summary for you from fogdog.com. You see the Yankees out hit 7-6, but Paul O'Neill's 2-run homer. And the good pitching of El Duque through 6, now 6 1/3. Tim Salmon, the entire Anaheim offense so far. But the Angels with runners in scoring position 0 for 4. Mo Vaughn rung up 3 times. Next up, top of the order, Darren Erstad, then Adam Kennedy. They'll need a base runner here to get Mo Vaughn back to the plate in this inning. Erstad has gone the other way for his 2 hits tonight. One a fluke, though, that really should have been caught. The other a solid line drive to left back in the first.
Hitters will take those gifts anytime.
Well, they'll hit their share of screamers that get nabbed by somebody, huh?
People say they all even out. I don't think so.
Hitters don't believe that, do they?
No, they don't even.
I've never talked to one who does. Another catcher turned manager, Mike Scioscia. There's a solid line drive. Jeter almost got him. And a 3-hit night for Darren Erstad. 1 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. And we check in again with Bill Pito.
All right, Bob, Jason Giambi having a huge opening night for the Oakland Athletics, already with 1 home run, and there's number 2. A lot of guys around the major leagues that have 2 home run games. Add Jason Giambi to the list. But the Athletics are down 7-4.
And that's part of our regional coverage on ESPN2 tonight. Thank you, Bill. Say that Oakland ball club can put some offense on the board. And you have to throw strikes to those guys. They will take walks more than any team in Major League Baseball.
Led the league in walks last year.
That's something they preach up and down their organization. Adam Kennedy line drives one right at Spencer for the 2nd out.
That's a fun team to enjoy and watch as a fan because the guys look like they're overweight and out of shape, and they have the beards, the goatees, everything. It's kind of like the older age teams. They have some kind of personality, and a lot of people can relate to that ball club.
And I'll tell you one thing about those flamboyant A's. They have one of the greatest even-keel managers in baseball. Art Howe is a man who doesn't have those highs and lows. He's just a steady hand at the helm. They'll be a good club in the AL West this year. Meanwhile, here in Anaheim, the game might be resting on this at-bat. Mo Vaughn's the tying run. He has fanned 3 times. You don't know if Mo's going to bat again tonight, so this could be the deciding moment of this game right now. Three 3-1 score, Yankees ahead. Another breaking ball, 2-0.
Bo sees a fastball in this at bat. I don't think it's going to be for a strike. He can probably bust him in off the plate or just keep it away from him. Something that he can't get part of the batting. You don't want Mo to tie the score.
Jeff Nelson, Mike Stanton now. Yankees have switched to 2 different relievers. It's a little later. Last inning, they had Grimsley, the right-hander, and Watson, the left-hander, throwing. Joe Torre obviously has certain guys in mind for certain innings as it gets later. Two balls and a strike. High and tight. Don Zimmer alongside Joe Torre. Yeah, hard to sit down here, huh? I was going to go to Mel Stottlemyre, talk over pitching with him. 3 balls and a strike to move on. He got it by him to fill the count.
Tied him up with a 91 mile an hour fastball. Looked like a cut fastball. No, came back over the plate.
Runner will be going with 2 outs.
Still got the good movement on the ball.
El Duque and Big Mo. This might be the game right here. Off-speed breaking ball, fair ball. Tino Martinez does it himself. And the Angels have left 8 base runners tonight. Mo Vaughn 0 for 4, and El Duque continues to do the job.
Can you make color copies, Coley?
Orlando Hernandez is done for the night. .110 pitches, 65 strikes for the right-hander. Got some hearty congratulations between innings from his teammates. Adam Kennedy takes care of the bouncing ball. This is a ball club that they really seem to enjoy each other.
They just do a good job of staying with each other, pumping each other up, and when you've won as much as they've won in the past few years, it's not hard to keep fighting for each other.
Well, El Duque a lot more animated, communicating with a lot more of his teammates than in his first year or 2.
I think he feels a lot more comfortable with his role on this ball club and what he can and can't do. And I just see a lot of good things out of him.
Here's Bernie Williams batting right-handed for the first time tonight. Bernie in 0 for 3 this evening. Not playing center field if you missed it early because of a tricep problem in his upper right arm, his throwing arm. So he's DHing tonight. That's why Ricky Leday's in center, Shane Spencer in left. 3 consecutive Gold Gloves, so the Yankees want Bernie Williams in center.
So there's a lot of ground out there in Yankee Stadium. There's a lot of ground to cover.
Two ball, nope, strike 2. There's that high strike again from Tim McClellan. Say one thing, he's been consistent, calling it all night long.
Getting a lot of funny looks from the hitters, but he is consistent.
So Merker stays up there. Did he go? Yes, says Terry Kraft. He punches out Bernie Williams. Bernie didn't like the strike 2 call, and now he's gone.
Number 24, first baseman, Tino Martinez.
It's kind of hard to tell. Slow motion, it always looks like guys don't go, but he probably did. Umpire's right.
Well, he must have gone because it didn't appear to be a called strike. That ball was up again. 5 in a row now for Merker since the homer by Spencer. Tino Martinez stepping in. Fly ball to left. It'll back up Erstad. Nearing the track. Just on the edge. And a 1-2-3 8th inning for Ken Merker. Bottom of the 8th coming up. It's time for the Angels. Tim Salmon leads off, and then Anderson, then Gloss. Peter Ueberroth, the 6th commissioner of Major League Baseball. We've had 3 since. Watching the game, he lives in nearby Newport Beach and was rumored to be part of a group trying to buy this Angel club. Lindsay Davenport leaving the baseline and heading down to the first row. Tennis star watching the Angels in action tonight. There's always a few faces and celebrities in the crowd out in this part of the world.
Opening day brings them all out.
Yep. 6'8", 235-pound setup man Jeff Nelson, 33-year-old right-hander, in the 8th for the Yankees.
Nelson is very hard to hit as a right-handed hitter because he's sidearm. So there's a lot of breaking balls, and they look like frisbees, some of them do, to right-handed hitters. Left-handed hitters have a lot better time picking up the ball off of him, but he's real tough on righties and specializes in getting right-handers out.
Yeah, and at 6'8", it seems like he's about 48 feet away, not 60. Here's Tim Salmon, who is the leadoff man for the Angels. Bottom 8. Then Garrett Anderson and Troy Glaus. So with Mo Vaughn out of the picture after being retired in the 7th, let's see what the middle of the Angels order can do against a big, tough right-hander. And of course, you know if you don't get the Yankees here, what you're dealing with in the night.
You got to get him here.
You got to get him here.
It's almost automatic when Rivera comes in the ball game.
1-0 pitch and a fly ball, short right field. Paul O'Neill. 5 outs to go for the Yankees in the season opener. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. Bob Carpenter, Brian McRae with you from the Big A in Anaheim. Beautiful shots from the Goodyear Ship Eagle tonight. And it's 1 out, bottom 8 with the Yankees on top 3-1. Garrett Anderson 0 for 3 steps in. That sidearm fling of a breaking ball that misses outside. Another one that catches the corner.
Almost look like the same place.
Well, you've caused me to think of something in a different light. I've never thought of a breaking ball in terms of a frisbee before this evening, but this big fella saw Mendoza throwing in the Yankee bullpen.
He's a guy that everybody, when they talk to trade talks with the Yankees, always mention his name. Mendoza can start, he can go middle, long relief. He's a very valuable guy for this rotation.
Anderson turns on a pitch off the plate. Unable to hit it fair. We're in the 9th inning now in that game at Oakland. A's have been battling from behind all night long. The Tigers lead 7-4, which was the score after the Jason Giambi homer that Bill Pito showed us a few minutes ago. The last 2 games in progress on this April 3rd, the year 2000. And a fastball rides upstairs, 3-2. Walks as good as a hit for the Angels right now. They need a base runner or 2.
Get a couple base runners on, and then the 9th inning, the top of the lineup may come up, and move on, might get one more chance.
3-2 pitch, breaking ball. Garrett Anderson fights it off. Pitch again. Got him with a fastball well away. Nelson fooling Anderson into thinking that ball was reachable. Well, high above the Big A in Anaheim, the Goodyear Blimp Eagle providing our aerial pictures tonight. The year 2000 is the 102nd anniversary of Goodyear and the 75th for its fleet of blimps. By the way, Javier Estrella handling the camera duties up there today. Now that's what I call high home. Bases empty, 2 outs. and Troy lost the batter. Troy with a base hit and a walk. He's 1 for 2. I'll tell you, Nelson, he's so deceptive. You see guys offering at balls that are a foot outside.
It's hard to pick the ball,
evidently. He writes the fastball up high, 3-0. Angels have not had a hit since 1 out last inning when Darren Erstad got his 3rd of the night. It had been the 5th since their previous hit. 3-0 fastball is in there. Get the Angels a badly needed base runner with 2 outs here in the 8th.
Anytime you can get the tying run to come up to the plate late in the ball game, it's a good thing.
And for all intents and purposes, Mike Scioscia knows that he's got 4 outs left, but he might really only have 1, because if they don't tie the game here in the 8th inning, he deals with Mariano Rivera in the 9th. And as Brian McRae mentioned last inning, the way he's been going, it's almost automatic. The Yankees lead after 7 unbelievable numbers the last 2 years. Breaking ball is in there to Scott Spezia. 93-1 2 years ago. 77-2 last year. That's 170-3 over 2 years when the Yankees lead after 7 innings.
Good percentage.
Yeah, that's way up there.
You got no chance if you get into the 9th.
I want to know how they lost those 3 games. 1 ball, 1 strike. Must have been a power outage somewhere. Out to left center. Ball twisting back towards Spencer. He gets there. Off the bat of the left-hander. It works to the advantage of the left fielder.
Good jump.
Shane Spencer atones for his earlier miscue. And the Angels strand another. They've left 9 runners tonight. And as he races toward this one, we're into the 9th inning. 3-1 Yankees.
Today was a good day.
3-1 Yankees into the top of the 9th inning here at the Big A in Anaheim. One of a bunch of low-scoring games in Major League Baseball today. Mark Pitkazik, good sinker ball pitcher, will take over for the Angels here at the top of the 9th to try to keep the Yankees within 2. Sinker, curveball, changeup guys who gets a lot of ground balls when he's going well.
And he keeps the ball down. His changeup is probably one of his better pitches. It's real effective. He uses that mostly to left-handers. Right-handers, he's sinking curveball.
Well, folks out here in this part of the country remember the Vulture, Phil Regan, who used to pitch for the Dodgers. Mark Pitkazik was that on a championship ball club 4 years ago in St. Louis. He'd swooped in out of relief and got 11 wins for Tony La Russa, helping them to the National League Central Championship.
1 win away from the World Series.
It's a final. Despite Jason Giambi's 2 homers, Tigers win their opener on the road, 7-4. So a nice debut for Phil Garner at the helm of the Tigers. Yeah, they might do some hacking this year with Bill Matlock, their hitting coach. That dog did some serious hacking in his National League days.
Won himself a couple of batting titles, didn't he?
Yes, sir. He was an outstanding right-handed batter. Well, the Indians won 4-1 at Baltimore. The Mets 2-1 at home over San Diego. Atlanta 2-0 at home over Colorado. Got a 3-1 game here. So there have been some well-pitched, well-played, low-scoring Major League opening day games. Ricky Leday 0 for 3, and the count goes to 3-2. Right down in there on the first row. Angels drew 42,704 for their opening night game. As you can see by some of the empty seats, the freeways are filling up here in the 9th inning. Nice opening crowd. Yankees will be here tomorrow night and Wednesday. We will televise Wednesday evening, 10:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Mo Vaughn to Pit Kaizik for the first out.
A little bit easier play for Mo. He had underhanded instead of throwing it.
And Mo's been off target with a couple of overhand throws tonight. Pit Kaizik out of Beaumont, Texas. Quiet-mannered, very efficient relief pitcher. It's another one of those versatile guys who can go long or short for you. Here's Jorge Posada, Yankee catcher, 0 for 2 with a walk. And a breaking ball, first pitch. Mo Vaughn can do this one himself. On Wednesday nights, after Major League Baseball, RPM tonight coming up following our game. All your racing news on RPM tonight coming up when we finish this one in Anaheim. Pit Kaizik will face Shane Spencer now, trying to get the Angels into the bottom of the 9th, down by 2. A solo last time for Shane. And a high pop fly. Playable down the right field line. Vaughn, Kennedy, nobody took charge.
Seen quite a few pop-ups dropping in there today. A lot of miscommunication, a lot of guys just not being able to get over there. And it's one of those things that you work on in spring training. I think Mo has heard some footsteps from Adam. And granted, they have been together and worked together, but for the last couple of weeks. But this is something that you see, especially early in the season, and it's kind of frustrating to coaches because they work on it almost every day in spring training.
Yeah, Adam in a ballpark he's never seen before. New club, new surroundings. Now if you're Mike Sochi, you hope that Shane Spencer doesn't hit one out of the park and really make it hurt. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Some of the simpler things in this game are the things that get messed up the most.
A lot of guys being rushed to the big leagues these days. 2-1 pitch. Fastball rides upstairs. Scott Brosius next if Shane Spencer extends the 9th inning. Fastball down to third, backhand. Long throw by Gloss, right on target. And a mark Pit Kaizik, 1-2-3, top of the 9th. Angels have 3 outs left. Yeah, Mariano Rivera standing in the way of Molina, DeSancina, and 3 for 4, Darren Erstad. Yankees, and that usually spells a quick finish. Now, here's the only numbers, folks, you need to know about Mariano Rivera. Here are some others, what he did last year. In 5 division series, he's 1-0 with an 0.49 ERA, 5 saves. In 3 league championship series, 2-0, ERA, 0.00, 3 saves. In 3 World Series, he's 1-0, 0.61, 5 saves.
Wow.
Just totally unbeatable.
That's domination right there.
129 career saves. And the Yankees will shore up the defense here a little bit. You talked earlier about what a good left fielder Ricky Leday is. That's where he goes. And what a good center fielder Roberto Kelly is. And just in case you forget about tomorrow night, we've got more baseball coming your way on ESPN. 8 o'clock Eastern. Mariners and the Red Sox from Safeco Field. Pedro Martinez takes the hill, and he will battle a still pretty good lineup of Alex Rodriguez and those Mariners. John Olerud's out there now, back home. Baseball tonight at 7 Eastern, tomorrow night. Orlando Palmeiro pinch hits for the Angels here, leading off bottom 9.
As a left-hander, when you face Rivera, you try to get off the plate more so than you ever stand, because that cutter pours in on your hands. You try to get off and hopefully he can't throw it for a strike, but he seems to break up a lot of bats from lefties.
Palmeiro, then DiSarcina, then top of the order Erstad. Boy, does he work inside the left-handers so well.
He just pounds you in, and in.
43, 36, and 45 saves the last 3 years. And of course, that doesn't even count postseason. He has just been spectacular with the big money and the big games on the line. 1 ball, 1 strike. You see more left-handed batters hopping around in pain against Rivera than any other pitcher, because they're constantly fouling the ball off their own body.
Fouling off their body, breaking bats. You just don't get a lot of good swings off them.
One ball, 2 strikes. Let's see what he does ahead in the count for the first time. Rides the high fastball for the strikeout.
Just blew him away with that one.
94 miles an hour. Well, they say that a ball cannot rise on the way from the pitcher's mound to home plate, but that one sure seemed like it did. Right over like the bat.
Ball explodes as it gets into the hitting zone.
Every run tonight coming via the homer. Gary DiSarcina 1 for 3 with a single. That went inside 2-0. Well, Brian McRae, I know it's only opening night. Sort of looks like business as usual for the world champions, doesn't it?
Just picked up where they left off.
Timely hitting, good starting pitching, great bullpen. Veteran club with guys in the dugout who can help you win. Although they are younger now. But there's Roberto Kelly in there to back up Bernie Williams. They got Lance Johnson for late inning running situations, who can also go get him in the outfield. And of course, Mr. Postseason Jim Leyritz, who one way or another seems to thrust himself into the limelight.
He finds a way to get it done at the right time.
A young Clay Bellinger backup infielder, a young backup catcher Wilson Delgado. But other than that, with Roger Clemens pitching tomorrow night, same old Yankees. 2-2. Well hit right field. Here comes O'Neill. No chance to get to it. That'll get the tying run to the plate. And a 2-hit night for Gary DiSarcina in the number 9 hole. Angels aren't finished yet.
Good job of battling. 2 strikes, just throws the head of the bat out there, flips it over to second baseman's head into right field. He wasn't trying to do a whole lot. He was just trying to put the ball in play.
That ball was right off the end of the bat.
It's called perfect placement.
And at least tonight, if there's one Angel you'd like up there with a man on, it's Darren Erstad. 3 for 4 tonight. And if they get one more base runner, barring a double play, we see Mo Vaughn again.
Erstad is far off the plate a lot farther than he had been in his 4 at-bats to try to take away some of that effectiveness at the cutter from McRae.
Yeah, he's about as far away as you'll see anybody these days in the era of people jamming the plate.
There's a whole lot of room between him and the plate.
That front foot doesn't look very reluctant to stay in there either. Fastball high and tight, 2-0.
The problem, though, when you move off the plate, if you're so used to being in the same spot, you take the plate with you. So that pitch that's a ball, you swing at it because it was a strike if you stand where you normally stand.
This will be interesting on 2-0. What will Rivera come up with? I mean, he can throw mid-90s with a fastball. That one didn't miss by much, but it's ball 3. This is about to get interesting. No, sir. First and second, 1 out. Adam Kennedy coming up. And again, barring a double play, move on.
It's just what we wanted.
Jorge Posada talking it over with Oakland umpire Tim McClellan. I think if they're talking about anything, it was that 2-0 call when they thought they had buzzed the inside corner and didn't get it. So here's Adam Kennedy in his Angels debut, 1 for 4 with a double. He actually has hit the ball hard 3 times. Lined out to first, then he doubled, popped up, and then lined out hard to left in the 7th. So this rookie has had some pretty good hacks.
He's facing Rivera for the first time. Goes up there hacking, swinging at the first pitch.
Oh, was it Ted Williams that once said, don't ever swing at the first pitch against a pitcher you've never faced before?
Only looks bad if you don't swing and hit it.
Well, not everybody's Ted Williams either.
That's true.
High fly ball, right center. O'Neill coming in for it. No advancement by the runners. And the Yankees are 1 out away from a win, but standing in the way. Crowd coming to its feet for number 42. This is what you have in mind for a 9th inning matchup.
This is what the game is all about right here. You got the best closer, one of the best closers in baseball, and one of the best clutch hitters in baseball. And they're going to match up and see who's better.
And he represents the winning run. Up the middle. That's a base hit. DeSarcina scores. Stopping at second, Erstad. It's a 3-2 game. And Tim Salmon is next.
Mo Vaughn didn't hit it hard, but he got the job done.
He didn't want to get behind in the count either, did he?
No, he's swinging early in the count. Be aggressive.
That's what Mo Vaughn told Brian McRae during batting practice tonight against Rivera. Right around the trademark, but Mo strong enough to muscle that ball into the outfield. And it looks like Edgar Clemente will run for Mo Vaughn. That's an important run at first base. Got to have some speed over there.
Clemente came over from the Rockies right towards the end of spring training.
Here's Salmon, tying run at second base. And a fastball by him.
Everybody's swinging early in the count. They're being aggressive, going up there looking for something good to hit and let it fly. Now is when you think of all the missed opportunities that the Angels have had throughout the ball game.
Now they've got one more big one here. He might just take him right up the ladder now. No balls and 2 strikes. Tying run at second is Erstad. Winning run at first, Clemente. It rests on the shoulders and the bat of Tim Salmon right now. Right field. Paul O'Neill is there. And the Yankees hang on to win it 3-2. Great ball game to open the season, and the Yankees in typical New York style.
They do it the way they've done it year in and year out. They get good pitching. They get timely hitting. They don't panic. And then they have the main man come in and close the door at the end.
That's Brian McRae. Hey, nice job on your debut tonight, man.
Thank you, Bob. I loved it.
Brian McRae, after 9 years as a major leaguer, in our ESPN booth for the first time tonight. I'm Bob Carpenter. Stay tuned for RPM tonight coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network. And now, as opening day wraps up for the year 2000, we wish you a good night from the Big A in Anaheim.